Okay. Yeah, I should be recording audio. It is going to be probably a 10-minute thing, and I'll be really upset if I don't have audio at the end of 10 minutes and I gotta redo this. I'm gonna make this like like you can listen along like an audiobook. So I'll put stuff on the screen, but I'll read it to you. So you technically don't need to watch this video if you don't want to. You can listen to it. I'm not using any chat GPT. This is just purely authentic for me because Sunshine and a bunch of others are gonna go do their own thing, and you should know kind of what's going on, right? What happened, conversations behind the scenes. I'll show you, and how the exit happened, which was a little abrupt, but uh, for the best for sure. So where do we start? Because I'm not using ChatGPT because I'm really believing in being authentic here. Um, I guess we start from the beginning, right? Like I got started getting messages from people that had been in the community 7, 8 years, people that had led the community for over a year, that they lost all their access to the Discord, and I'm like, what? And they had not kicked, but they had removed the permissions of hundreds of people. We're still not even putting them all back yet, so I don't have an exact number. And I was just like, no, we gotta, we can't do that. That's not what we are about here. This has been around. People have had their perms for a long time. They've never been removed for going inactive, right? And so that was kind of what brought me back into the the act. Brought me that kind of that. If that wouldn't have happened, I probably wouldn't even be back right now for Airborne, as I was enjoying watching from the sidelines. But when I saw that, I was like, I gotta step in. You can't just remove everybody. And I spoke with Sunshine and Mono, and he said, well, I posted in public chat. I told Sunshine this. I said, we can't expect somebody to come back and, who's been gone 2 months or a month from that public chat posting, scroll up and see it. Who's going to read 2 months of public chat? See it. Oh, I just need to ask for my perms back. No, they're going to think, they could think negatively, or they could understand. A lot of people would understand. A lot of people won't understand. A lot of people might take it as an identity hit, right? Especially, I mean, they took perms away from people who were the leaders of CAW for over a year. I'm just like, oh man, come on. I think we're overstepping here. These people have earned something. You're standing on the shoulders of giants here, you know? Let's show a little respect. We didn't even message these people. We were kicking them out. Or not kicking them out. We were just basically they can only see public chat. They'd just be like, no perms, no rank, nothing. They can only see public chat. So you're not kicked out of the server, but you can't access anything, see anything, look at anything. You can't talk if you wanted to. You won't see any of the pings. So if you did want to come back, so I guess I kind of overruled her or Mono or her and Mono, whomever. Maybe it was a joint decision. I don't know. Um, yeah, I just thought, man, these people put their heart and soul into this. I mean, I had people I played with every day for 3 years, right? So I was like, I can't just stand by and watch you. And I didn't know what they were gonna whittle it down to because, as a lot of you know, for the last few months, there's not been much activity. It was really Sunshine and like four other people, and that was it for a while. And then the last couple of months it started to pick up. So I'm like, if you're gonna purge the inactives, we got over 500 people in this Discord. How many people out of 500 do you think have been active? 20%? 100? We're gonna take 400 people's perms, 350 people's. That's huge. So that probably was the first step, maybe to the beginning of the end. You could say, if I'm being super honest. So we was helping out with some Logi. I knew a lot of people would start coming back with Airborne, so I thought, hey, what the hell? I'm already here now. Let's make sure things go well. And Sunshine asked me for a private conversation, and I could just tell in their tone, I was like, oh my god, she's about to ask me to take it back over, and I was like, I hope not, because I didn't feel like doing that. But she asked me if she could be the official leader of CAW, and I was so fucking happy. I was like, thank God, that's amazing. Yeah, of course. CAW is more than one person. CAW is an idea. It's this idea that we believe in creating a beautiful place to play where you can play at an elite level but also be non-toxic and be elite people that bring in new players and teach them. CAW is kind of the guild we always wanted to find. It's not even a guild, it's an idea. This is what we believe in. You don't have racism, sexism, you could be a man or a woman and rise to the top in CAW. We don't care who you love. We don't care the color of your skin. We don't care who you pray to. We're just looking for a beautiful place to escape our lives for a few hours. That's the kind of people I try to keep around and enforce. And I didn't create CAW. Dearman did. And his buddy Chief. And Dearman was kind to me. And I lost tanks. And Dearman was nice and kind to me. And he earned my loyalty for the kindness he showed a new player who didn't know anything about Foxhole. But I was in the U.S. Army for 6 years as a combat medic. I joined because of 9/11 when that lady jumped off the tower. And in her last moments of dignity, she held her skirt down as she was falling to her death. And I said, nah, I got to do something about that. And so I love these kind of military games. I did this shit for real. And he was kind to me and he taught me. And we created this idea. I guess you could say he originated the idea, but I believed in what he believed in. And when he couldn't, when he couldn't keep pushing it forward, I took over and helped push it forward as a gift to him. This is Dearman, I hope you read this, listen to this, or I'll YouTube you this portion. But this is my gift to you, brother. You were the leader I always wanted to be. And it took me a long time to become as kind as you were and as you didn't have to be to me. So, you always have my loyalty for that. Kindness. Let me just, they didn't pause. I'm just thinking of where I'm going next. Like I said, I'm not doing ChatGPT. I didn't write anything down. I wanted raw, authentic. That's what you deserve. It's the 100% of the fucking truth. Oh, right. We were talking. So Sunshine. So I'm like, okay, let me let you know what you're getting into. It's going to be a lot of big personalities. A lot of people coming back for Airborne. This ain't going to be like it was when it was just you and a couple of your friends that you have. I think she's meeting up with these guys in real life. There's a real life meetup between them. They're close, obviously. This ain't going to be you and a couple of your close friends. This is going to be a lot of different opinions. You're going to get messages every day. People trying to tell you how to run the guild. People having a problem. People you're going to be in HR. It's, and I'm also going to be around. Gwen's going to be around. Dearman's going to be around. Previous leaders are going to be around. It's a lot. And I asked her if she had ever led a gaming community before. And she said no, but she feels like she has been. And I was like, it's going to be a lot different. This ain't going to be like you and a couple of people just sitting around having a good time. It's going to be drama. It's going to be people pulling in all different directions. You're going to have to defend the idea of CAW because we're going to. She was okay with it. I said, all right, well, let's agree. I even told her very mature. I said, I think you've earned the right to ask me that question because you have been pushing activity, while I haven't been playing. And Gwen hasn't been playing. Dearman hasn't been playing. And Sato Show hasn't been playing. And so I said, let's make an agreement on 7th. Actually, I could just show you guys, right? Let's see. All right. What is this? This is the council chat. Oh, yes. Oh, this is just nothing. I mean, you can pause it and look at it if you want. This is her asking if she can return council tax. Mono removed somebody from the council. This is Siri Lucas for. I said he played with us every day 3 years straight. I just can't see removing his access to something he put so much of his heart and soul into. If he wants to check in on council chat, it's fine with me. And to everyone else in here, this was done because they were worried about Kali spies and operational security. I can promise you that council member is not and will never be a Kali spy. Yeah, they said they had Kalis in here, so they were purging the Discord. I said, why don't we just make another channel, give everybody a role that's active, and in that channel, you can make all of your operational security in there. And you don't have to remove hundreds and hundreds of people that have been here for years and years and years. You don't have to remove their access. Why take that from them when you don't have to? Especially council members. Like, how do I tell a guy that played with me for 3 years? No, I don't even want to go there. So, but let me show you. So we were at Sunshine. See, that's why I needed to fucking use ChatGPT. This motherfucker would have helped me out. Sorry about that. I am paranoid about my audio, but I couldn't restart it, so I'll probably have somebody mesh this together. So there was a little slash there. All right, so I was showing you the DMs just so you could see our conversation, so you can understand everything, like black and white on paper. Okay, so you should be. Let me make sure you can see this if you wanted to. Yeah, you can. Okay, this is actually my DM with Lemon. This is good to see. Look, Lemon said, "I think I need to step down as backline commander because if we have another meeting, I'm not going to make it, right? Because he has the time zone issue." And I was like, "Here's the meeting minutes that Lemon did, so you catch up." And look, even to support her, right? I could have just said, "Hey, bring all your problems to Sunshine." I said, "No way. You could just make the time for the meetings that you can make. You could do this, right?" This is after she left. I just said, "You'll always have perms here. I wasn't around for your growth, but I always admired and respected what you did for Caw. Caw's more than me or one person. It's always been an idea that you could play competitively and also be in a non-toxic environment where you're not afraid of cyberbullies or racism. I know you're close with Sunshine. I think she will need you now more than ever as she starts your journey." So really, I'm telling this guy, like, hey, if you're on the fence, bro, you should go. Help your friend. You can always come back if they stop playing and you need a place to play. But I guess I'm saying this now to Lemon. Oh, if everybody's going to see this. That's kind of, I said, I think you're making the right choice. If I would have done the same. Your friend needs her builder, right? So even in her leaving, I'm supporting her. Before she's leaving, I'm supporting her. The guy that wants to step down, I'm like, hey, no, we could solve this, right? So I'm supporting her. Let me go to Sunshine here. This was our agreement. No bullying. So I said there's 7 points. If we agree on this, then you're all set. I said don't rage kick people or make big decisions when you're angry. No racism. Don't take anyone's access to the Discord, please. We can make a secure channel instead and add a role. No bullying, insulting, teasing, making people feel unwelcome because of their religious beliefs, sexual orientation, etc. Quinn, Gabs, Momo, Vento, Laminus, Dearman, Always Second, Royal Soul, and a few of the others are dear to me. Please solve any issues related to them with patience and kindness. I said 1 ping per event. It hurts the next guy or girl when someone spam pings because people mute the server and they won't see the next person's event. And there's also this trust issue. If you could trust me to only ping 1 time, you'll not mute it. And here's the important one you got to look. The 7th point. If you get burnt out and need to leave, and I told her for whatever reason, you come to me and we could come up with a succession plan. And she agreed to that. And I said, okay, I'm holding you at your word, at your honor. And she said she agreed to it. And you'll see. So then what happens is, like, all of a sudden Sunshine pings this leaving message. And I'm like, damn, what the fuck? We just fucking... And this was... Because she just became leader like 3 days ago or something. Oh, she also asked me... Let me say this. She also asked me to do a training thing. She asked me to be on a council. And she asked me to recruit. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Listen, I don't think I should be on a council. As I was like, I think and I was like, and I don't really want to do the training. And I don't want to do the recruiting. But I'm pretty good at it. And I get it. So I agreed to do it. But I need content for recruiting. Like, if I just show up by myself, it's hard. If I show up and there's an operation going on and people see 10, 15 other Caw, I'm paranoid. I'm going to check if it's recording. Then it's easier to recruit. So I was like, all right, I'll do that for you. I'll help you swell your ranks, you know. We did have one argument here about the definition of the word Caw base. I'm not going to read it all, but if you did want to pause this video, you could see it. That's not important. So you understand the conversation we had about the agreement. Well, I should show you that she did agree to it, right? She was sending me this, asking me. This was talking about pings. This is it, right? I said, can you agree to these 7 points? Point 5, what should I do with it? Special treatment. I said, within reason, if it gets out of hand, call me and talk to them. But you can't let them undermine your authority either. She said, okay, no problem. Should be fine. I said, should be fine. Everything else is agreeable. She said, yes, I agree with it. It's sensible, right? That's what she says. So I say, I double check. Everything else is agreeable. And I even said this to her in voice, but I don't have the recording. As I said, I got to take you at your honor. This is a huge thing I'm giving you. I said, I'm excited for your journey. She said, me too. Car's great now and will grow. I said, I'll make a post now and will help flood you with new recruits. She said, Roger that. And then this is, she thought she didn't have perms, but the only thing I took was away her ability to delete the Discord server. I think. Yeah, I took away admin's perms just because somebody said I shouldn't be doing that. But she still had all the perms to do anything she wanted. She was creating channels. You guys all saw it pinging. So she does the ping. Okay, so let's. All right, so this is the call. She couldn't make this meeting, but a lot of people showed up. I'm like, meeting's going well. Lambda's recording. I'm like, huge. I'm giving her updates because she couldn't make huge attendance. Heart. I said I made a sign up channel for the building team because they asked for it. I put it under your channels. She said, thank you. Great. So then she pings, and I'm like, that violates our fucking agreement. Like, you can't just ping the fucking server that you're not the leader anymore. We said we would meet and come up with a transition plan. This is abrupt and traumatic. And, so I delete that, and then I start to talk to her. And I said, please don't spam the Discord. We agreed to talk about a secession plan, right? But as I'm trying to talk to her, Gairoko and Mono just start spamming the Discord, and I'm like, hey, guys. But I'd have to stop them, right? Because I'm like, this is the agreement Sunshine and I had. I'm not sure why you're jumping into this, but let me and her talk about our agreement. I didn't. I mean, what do I have to say about Mono Gairoko spamming the server and having to get kicked to stop spamming? I think it's the heat of the moment. I think they felt like I was trying to silence her by deleting the message and that they were going to promote it as much as they could, knowing they would be kicked, but just going out with like, support my friend, fuck you, Mark, right? I wasn't trying to silence her. We would have came up with a transition plan together where we would have pinged everyone, and anybody that wanted us to follow her would be totally supported and welcome to do so, and it would have been graceful. Not two guys spamming the server, having to get kicked and just causing drama. But we all do things in the heat of the moment. Sometimes we're not our best selves. I know Mono. I recruited him off of Charlie a year ago. He played with us for a few months. He left because he didn't want to play with new players, or the amount of new players that were coming in. I respected that. I get that. A lot of people feel that way. That wasn't his best self. We're not going to hold it against him. He's a good guy, and I think you would enjoy playing with him. He is non-toxic for the most part. 99% of the time. 99.9% of the time. So I definitely support you going to play with him, especially if you want to do artillery or building or whatever. So this is the conversation with me and Sunshine have right after I delete her post and I have to kick these two guys out. So the post has on it like, a very nice message saying that, she was grateful for all her time here, but she's decided to go in a different direction, and her, Hombre, Mono, and Gairoko are leaving, right? Presumably to go do their own thing, because I feel like Sunshine wants to be a leader, but maybe Ka isn't with the best place for her to be the leader, because it's got a lot of dynamics. And if she starts her own thing, she won't have all these dynamics, all these old players coming back, all of these big personalities, all of these people that have never had her in leadership before, and they're going to want to see if she can measure up. And that's just the nature of changing of leadership. You know, when a new boss comes in, it's a big evaluation period. That's a lot. So I said, listen, please don't spam the Discord. Because I'm like, can you tell your guys to stop this? Like, thinking to myself, like, we can do this and we could be better. I said, we agreed to talk up this first thing, right? After I say stop the spam. We agreed to talk about a succession plan. And if you don't know what that word means, maybe it just means like when one person in charge leaves, who's going to be the next person in charge? And we have a plan there and we put that in place. So it'd just be like, well, who's going to fill this role? And so you just don't have a vacuum. Hey, where's Sunshine? I said, you guys started spamming the Discord. I had to kick to stop the spam. She said, why did you delete the post? I said again, we agreed we would work together on a plan if you wanted to stop being leader. She said, it was a nice post. I had to leave. Which I don't understand how that, so I just kind of repeat myself because I'm like, I don't know how that is responding to me saying about our agreement. I said, I need you to honor our agreement. She said, which one? I posted the 7 points. I said, point 7. Be a woman of your word here, please. Because I'm thinking to myself, listen, we could still sit down. We could do a nice transition plan. I could help you. We could give you stuff. I could not, whatever you need. But let's do it in a way that is the least damaging to the community. Right? Having these two guys that are presumably going to be your officers start spamming the server, and it's just this drama that it's going to make people we got a responsibility to 500 and something people in this Discord. But I understand Sunshine's probably under a lot of stress. I probably understand it more than most because I've been the leader and I've had to deal with Mono, and I've had to deal with people like Mono, and I know what it's like. It's stress. For sure. It's pressure. She said, what word? You broke all of them. I didn't, though. But let's break up like good friends. I liked Ka. Just want to go. I said, what did I break? I said, what word did I break? So she said, what word you broke? She said, so she's saying, what word? You broke all of them. But let's break up like good friends. I liked Ka. Just want to go. I said, what word did I break? I recruited. Look at all the new people. I need operations to recruit. I got Laminus to run operations so I can recruit. Because remember in our voice conversation, I said, I'm not going to do all those things for you, but I will just do this one thing because I know no one else can do it as well as me. She said, it's okay, Mark. Do your thing. I do my thing. I'm like, so she doesn't really answer me and tell me what word I broke. I said, just do your thing with honor. No need to break our agreement. And have the guys spam the Discord? Question mark, exclamation mark. She said, I didn't break agreement. I just left. I said, our agreement was if you get burnt out or overworked or overwhelmed or whatever, and you decide you don't want to be leader, you would talk to me so we could make a transition plan. Not ping the server and then have Mono and Gairoko spam the server. She says, I'm not burnt out. Well, she doesn't say it like that. I don't know how she said it. I'm not burnt out. I'm just leaving. Which, again, it's like, I just said you broke our agreement. And I'm not saying you're burnt out, Sunshine. I'm just saying if for any reason you were supposed to do this. She says, Ka is not mine, it's yours, mate. Let me be very clear. Ka is not mine. Ka is not anyone's. Ka is an idea. And over the years, there have been stewards of this idea. And, she had a turn. I said, I would just ask that you honor your agreement. Because I'm not trying to get sidetracked with her saying she's not burnt out when I didn't even say she's burnt out. I said, so then I'm like, listen, I can't keep asking the same thing over and over and just having you talk about not the subject I'm trying to talk about here. I said, I would just ask that you honor our agreement. Are you refusing? She says, I'm not burnt out. I'm just leaving. And I'm like, well, I didn't even say you were burnt out. I'm just asking you if we could sit down for 5 minutes, come up with a transition plan, make something that's the best for the community, and we implement it together like we agreed to. So I said, so you will not honor our agreement. I thought, well, maybe if I ask it in a different way, she'll understand what I'm saying, or she'll answer what I'm saying. She says, I'm not burnt out, Mark. I'm just leaving. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening in this conversation because Nobody said you were burnt out. And why can you not answer me about making a transition plan? Because at this point, remember, I deleted the message. I stopped the spam of Guy Mono. No harm done. We can do this gracefully. She says, I just don't even know. I said, listen. I don't even know if I can trust you right now. In my mind, I'm like, I don't know what might happen next. But right now, I can't even have a conversation with you. It's scary, but it's what it is. So I need to be thinking ahead. So I just, I think I take all the officers of Foxhole and I demote them in the game. Because if you're an officer in the game, you could kick people out. And I didn't want to wake up and have like the whole fucking regiment kicked out because who knows what they were going to do. Because I'm starting to get worried at this point where it's like, buddy, what's going on here? I think it's stress. Sunshine's an intelligent woman. I think she's stressed out. I think she's got a lot of people bothering her, and she was really hyped for Caw, and then some people and some things made her not hyped, and I think she's stressed. Again, she's better than this. When you look at this and you're like, why the hell can't she just answer your question? Why does she keep repeating something that you didn't even say? I think she's in the middle of massive stress. I think she loved Caw, and I think it hurt her dearly to leave. And I want us to all understand that if you've never been a leader and you've never had people messaging you all the time as a leader, it's an unbelievable amount of pressure and stress. So we give her grace and mercy here, people. Okay? But I just need you to understand what happened so I'm not like portrayed. And also you deserve the clarity. I said, since you won't honor the agreement, I can't trust you now. I need to go take measures to safeguard the community from the damage you just did. Because now I got people in member chat saying, oh my God, what's going on? I got people couch chat. She said, you were running Caw already. I was just on paper nice to have. I'm not leaving with anger. I'm just leaving. I'm like, I'm only doing what you asked me to do. And I'm only doing one of the 3 things you asked me to do. I'm recruiting for you. If anything I did Sunshine didn't like, she could have told me to stop, I would have stopped. If she said stop recruiting people, I would have stopped. If she said stop posting in Discord, I would have stopped. I'm just trying to make hype around events so that I can have people come, so that I can recruit. And we had agreed that I could put back the hundreds of perms and some of the former leaders' perms that had gotten removed so that they could have access to the community. So we were in the process of doing that. It's a lot of work. And I said, listen, I don't want to entertain any more conversations since you're refusing to honor the agreement. I have lost all trust in you because you went back on your word. I'm not angry either. Let's end things now. Goodbye. Put a sunshine. She says, whatever, Mark. It's already painful to leave. Look, when she says, whatever, Mark. It's already painful to leave. Looks like I made the right decision. I said, the right decision would have been to leave with honor and trust and friendship by leaving in the way we both agreed. She said, I did. See the post she didn't say. I got to stop making her seem like she's, She said, I did. See the post you deleted. At this point, I'm just like, what do you, I'm just like, how do I express to you, and I've done it like so many different ways, what our agreement was. I think everybody listening to this by now could tell you what the agreement was. You pinging without telling me and just bouncing is not the agreement. Having your boys here do their thing, not the agreement. So she blocked me, but I'll read it off my phone. The last thing I said when I found out I was blocked. Where is she, Sunshine? I said, Sunshine, let me be very clear. You did not. We agreed on making a transition plan together. You pinging the server and Mono and Gairoko spamming every Discord channel and they were kicked is not, and I put this quotes, making a transition plan together, quote. I said, you lost my trust, and I only wish you the best. That's what happened. Hope you're done your popcorn by now. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. I wish them the best. And I know Caw will survive because we're built on an idea. It's not one person. It's a beautiful idea. It's a beautiful place to play. And I know they'll be successful because they're built on bonds of friendship. And they enjoy each other. And for whatever reasons, they're going to enjoy each other a lot more without being around here. And I'd say anybody who wants to go, go. You know, this isn't an or. This is an and. You could play here and there. You could play there and see how it goes and come back. You could play both. You could play here and not go there. You could do whatever makes you happy. We're all trying to escape our lives for a little bit. You know, me seeing Ka grow, me going out there saying, good sir, do you have 10 seconds of your time so I could tell you why you should join Ka? Good sir. Listen, if you join right now, the next 60 seconds, if you join the voice channel, there will be a personalized song sung to you. There's a limited time offer. That shit puts a smile on my face. I fucking love it. It's like a clown act to me. Good sir. Oh, I don't have a medic, but you're going to go to a big farm. You're going to go to a big farm. You're going to run around. All your friends are going to be there. You know, I love it. And I love doing it in a community that believes what I believe. So that's what happened. I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. We're doing the best we can. We're all just living. And it's all love. Bye, everyone.